All right. You guys really outdid yourselves with the sources this time. We're talking OnlyFans and how it's kind of like bleeding into all these other social media platforms. We've got, let's see, Reddit threads, a few YouTube deep dives someone sent, and even some like legitimate articles.
Crazy how much this is it's everywhere.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we're trying to figure out, right? Like, what does this all mean for all of us? Like, are we creators, consumers? Are we just, along for the ride?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at all these sources, it's pretty clear that the lines are blurring. It's not just separate platforms anymore. They're all kind of starting to like merge together in a way.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's not always a good thing. Yeah. Like one stat that just blew my mind, one of the YouTube videos you guys sent, there's this OnlyFans creator, Sophie Rain, claims she made like $43 million.
Wow.
In a year.
In a year.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And she's like barely out of her teens.
Jeez.
That's more than most CEOs make, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's more than, some of the top athletes and actors. It's really crazy.
It makes you wonder what's even going on over there. Like how
is that even possible?
Yeah.
What's the economic engine that allows for that kind of income? It's wild.
And it makes you think about this question that keeps popping up in the Reddit threads. Is TikTok like a gateway drug to OnlyFans?
Oh, interesting.
It sounds a little dramatic, but there's definitely this feeling that TikTok is, pushing more and more people toward this kind of content.
Well, yeah, and TikTok itself is. I mean, it's changing.
Oh, big time.
Right. It used to be all about dance challenges and funny videos and stuff. Now it's like it's getting a lot more edgy,
Yeah.
And with their new adult-only live stream feature, I mean, things are about to get even blurrier.
Oh, totally. This live stream feature, there was a really good article in Unheard about it, and it's bringing up a lot of questions like, how are they going to even handle age verification?
Yeah.
And content moderation? Like, Can they actually do it effectively?
Especially with their track record.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember that BBC investigation, right? Where they found out TikTok was taken. Like 70% of the proceeds from these live streams, even from like Syrian families trying to get donations.
Well, that's 70%. Really? That's intense, especially when you think about, some of the most vulnerable people using the platform.
Absolutely. It really makes you think about like the power dynamics at play here.
Yeah, for sure. And this whole blurring of lines thing, it's really obvious when you look at something like the Bop House.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
One of the YouTube videos we got goes deep into that.
Yeah, the Bop House.
Yeah.
It's like a TikTok content house.
Yeah.
But it's all OnlyFans creators.
And their account has blown up.
Oh, millions and millions of followers.
Yeah, and quickly.
It's crazy how fast.
It's a clear sign that there's a huge audience for this kind of stuff on TikTok, even without the official adult features.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's also, I don't know, it's raising some red flags. The video talks about like leaked audition tapes and rumors of a quote unquote minor bop house.
Oh, wow.
It's like, are they even vetting these creators? What kind of message does that send to young viewers?
That's a good point. Yeah. I mean, that's a recipe for exploitation,
Yeah.
Like when you combine a platform like TikTok, that's all about viral trends and quick hits of content.
Totally.
With the financial incentives of OnlyFans. It's a breeding ground for risky behavior, potentially even harmful content.
Yeah. And it's not just the creators we need to think about, right? Like, what about the viewers?
Oh, absolutely. The viewers are just as important in this whole equation.
Yeah. And those Reddit threads you sent,
they
really highlight how people are feeling about all this. Like, some are just totally fed up with it.
With
the, like, constant OnlyFans promotion they're seeing on TikTok.
Yeah.
I feel like it's, like, invasive, you know? Like, it takes away from what they originally went to TikTok for.
It's like you go to the bakery for a croissant.
Yeah.
And you're bombarded with ads for something a little spicier.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, what am I even doing here?
It can be jarring, for sure.
For sure.
But then on the other hand, you have people who are saying, like, hey, creators have every right to promote their work and viewers can, curate their own feeds.
Right. Follow and unfollow.
Yeah, they're arguing that it's about personal responsibility.
Yeah.
And freedom of choice.
Yeah. I mean, it's a valid point.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, we do have the power to, like, shape our online experience.
Totally. But it also makes you think, like, how much are algorithms influencing what we see? Are they like prioritizing certain types of content over others?
It's like, are we really in control or are we being like subtly manipulated?
Yeah, it's a tough one. And then there's the whole issue of like the potential risks and impacts of, sex work in general, especially for young women who might be drawn to it because of the promise of easy money.
Right, like, are they fully aware of the downsides?
Yeah.
The stigma that can come with it?
Yeah, the long-term consequences.
Yeah.
It's not as simple as it looks from the outside.
Definitely not.
It's a valid concern.
For sure.
And it makes you wonder, like, why are people choosing to join OnlyFans in the first place?
Yeah. What are the motivations?
Like, is it all about the money? Or is there something more to it?
Well, luckily,
yeah.
One of the forum discussions you sent, why do girls start OnlyFans? It actually sheds some light on this.
Okay, cool. So what are some of the reasons?
Well, it seems like it's a mix of things. Financial independence is a big one, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of creators see it as a way to take control of their income.
Be their own boss.
Exactly.
Yeah. Set
their own hours, escape the 9-to-5 grind.
Yeah.
But it's not always just about the money.
Interesting. So what else is driving them?
Well, the forum mentions things like flexibility, escaping financial struggles, even like seeking empowerment and ownership over their content.
Okay.
Some creators view it as a way to, like, break free from societal expectations and embrace their sexuality on their own terms.
Wow, that's a whole other dimension to it. It's not all about exploitation like some people think.
Right. There's a sense of agency there. It often gets overlooked.
Yeah, it's complicated.
It is. It really is. And it reminds us that, like, the motivations are as diverse as the creators themselves.
For sure.
It's not a monolithic group. It's a complex tapestry of individual journeys and choices and circumstances.
And then there's the ethical debate, too, like surrounding OnlyFans itself.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole other can of worms.
It sounds like it gets pretty heated.
It does. There's this Reddit thread you sent, Purple Pill Debate. And it's a perfect example of this clash of perspectives.
Purple pill. What's that?
It's kind of it's like a term for this, like, disillusioned or cynical outlook, particularly towards modern dating and relationships.
Got it.
And in this thread, it's like you have people arguing that OnlyFans is inherently exploitative.
Right.
And should be illegal, like, full stop.
Wow. And then on the other side?
On the other side, you have people defending sex work as a legitimate profession, emphasizing the importance of consent, safety, worker rights.
Okay.
They argue that, like, criminalizing OnlyFans would just drive it underground.
Yeah.
Make it more dangerous for everyone.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a tough one. These sources definitely don't give us any easy answers.
Nope. It's a snapshot of a very complex and evolving landscape.
Yeah.
Where the lines between social media, adult content, personal choice, it's all kind of getting jumbled up.
Yeah, it's like trying to navigate a maze with moving walls.
Exactly.
But we can't just ignore it, right?
No, definitely not.
Because it's complicated.
Try to engage with it.
And that brings us to the long-term implications of all this for creators and viewers.
Right, because it's easy to get caught up in the immediate buzz, the potential for, like, fast money.
Totally.
But what about the after?
Yeah, what happens after the cameras stop flashing? After the hype dies down?
You said a forum discussion from the Gear page about the short lifespan of porn stars. And it has some really interesting insights that are relevant here.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So how does that connect to the OnlyFans world?
Well, the forum talks about the challenges adult film performers often face.
Yeah.
When they try to transition to other careers,
right,
it's not always easy to leave that world behind.
Yeah.
The anecdotes they share highlight things like employment discrimination, the social stigma that's attached to adult entertainment.
So even if you want to move on from OnlyFans, it could have, like, lasting consequences.
Unfortunately, yeah. And then there's the whole issue of leaked content. The forum mentions a massive leak of OnlyFans material.
Oh, wow.
Which raises serious concerns about privacy and the potential for harm, especially if that content falls into the wrong hands.
That's scary.
It is.
But it makes you think about, like, how much control do creators actually have, even on a platform that's supposed to be all about empowering them?
Right. It's a double-edged sword. You get the direct connection with fans, the potential for higher earnings.
Right.
But it comes with inherent risks.
Yeah.
It's a high-stakes game.
And not everyone is prepared for the consequences.
Exactly.
It's a lot to process.
Yeah,
and with platforms like TikTok potentially moving in that direction, it feels like those risks could become even more widespread.
Yeah, it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Yeah, it really makes you think. And it kind of brings us back to, like, you, the listener.
Right.
Like, we've been talking about all this stuff with OnlyFans and social media and all these different platforms, but Like, where do we go from here?
Yeah, we've gone through all these sources you guys sent in, the crazy earnings, the exploitation concerns, the long-term impacts. But what does it all mean for, the average person? The person scrolling through TikTok or, whatever.
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing to talk about it in the abstract,
Yeah.
but it's another to actually, like, apply it to your own life.
Totally.
And I think, like, the key takeaway here is awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we can't just be passive consumers of content anymore. We have to be, like, informed, critical thinkers.
Yeah.
Understand the forces at play, the potential consequences.
It's like we all signed up for this massive social experiment without actually reading the terms and conditions,
That's a great way to put it.
And now the experiment is, like, changing in ways we couldn't have predicted.
Exactly. And that's why we need to be, like, proactive. We need to take ownership of our online experience.
Right. We have a responsibility to ourselves, to our communities, to really think about how we engage with these platforms, how we support creators, how we protect ourselves and those around us.
And this isn't just about OnlyFans or TikTok, right?
No, it's bigger than that.
This is about the future of online spaces.
Yeah.
The way we interact with each other, the values we prioritize, the kind of digital world we're building together.
That's a good point. We're all building it together, whether we realize it or not.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we'd love to hear from you guys. What resonated with you? What surprised you? What are your thoughts on this whole intersection of social media and adult content?
Yeah, let us know.
Leave a comment, send us a message, whatever. We always love hearing your perspectives.
Always. And if you're, hungry for more deep dives into this crazy world of online platforms, send us your sources. We'll unpack them together.
Yeah, we love doing these.
Until then, happy scrolling. And remember, stay curious out there. Stay critical. Yeah, it's a lot to wrap your head around, right?
It is, and it kind of makes you realize that this whole OnlyFans thing, it's not just some isolated phenomenon.
No.
It's really connected to the bigger picture, the future of social media, the way we interact with each other online.
Exactly, and that's kind of what I keep coming back to. Like, what does this all mean for the average person, the person who's, just scrolling through their feed?
Right.
Like, how do we navigate this new world where the lines are so blurred?
It's tricky, for sure.
It is. And I think, like, one of the most important things is to just be aware.
Aware.
Yeah, like aware of the potential risks, the potential rewards, the fact that, these platforms are designed to keep us engaged, to keep us coming back for more.
And they're getting really good at it.
Oh, yeah. They have, like, whole teams of people figuring out how to, hack our brains, basically.
It's kind of scary when you think about it that way.
It is. It is.
So, like, what can we do about it?
Well, I think, first and foremost, we have to be critical thinkers.
Critical thinkers.
Yeah, like, don't just accept everything you see at face value.
Right.
Question things.
Question everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, why am I seeing this content? Who's benefiting from it? What's the motivation behind it?
That's a good point. It's like we need to be more media literate.
Absolutely.
In a way, it's like a new kind of literacy.
Totally. It's essential for navigating the digital world.
And maybe even more importantly, we need to be having these conversations.
Yeah, definitely.
Like talking about these issues openly and honestly.
With our friends, our families.
Yeah.
Even with strangers online.
Because the more we talk about it,
Right.
the more we can, like, demystify it.
Exactly. Take away the stigma.
Yeah.
And start to create a more informed and ethical online culture.
That's a good point. It's not about, like, shaming people or, censoring content.
Right.
It's about understanding the complexities.
And having, like, nuanced conversations.
Exactly. So, yeah, as we wrap up this deep dive, we really want to hear from you guys. What stuck with you?
Yeah. What resonated?
What surprised you? What are your thoughts on all this?
Leave a comment. Send us a message.
Yeah, we'd love to keep the conversation going.
And, if you're interested in more deep dives like this into the weird and wild world of online platforms,
Send us your sources.
we're always looking for new stuff to explore.
Yeah, we love going down these rabbit holes with you guys.
Until then, happy scrolling. Stay curious.
And stay informed.
That's the most important thing.